Normally in Starcraft 2, building a large army is a good plan. But what if I didn't do that? What if I played the Heart of the Swarm campaign and didn't build anything? I chose the brutal difficulty, and I already failed the challenge in the tutorial section of the first mission. The problem is mission objectives, which are a good list of things that aren't allowed in this challenge. Mutate Hatchery, Morph Overlord, Mutate Spawning Pool, and Morph Zerglings are great examples of producing things. I do the rest of this mission without using anything that I produced. I kill my Zerglings, and I don't kill the Spawning Pool or Hatchery, because if they die, they produce broodlings. And producing broodlings is not allowed. Later in the campaign, I will get many other ways of producing things, such as spreading creep by producing creep tumors. All of them are not allowed. But for this mission, I start by separating this one sentry bot, and I intentionally let it kill one of my drones. The other sentry bots just stop on this bridge if I let my drone die, but every time I tried this, keeping all my drones alive, the other sentry bots all attacked together. So my plan for most of the mission is use my 4 remaining drones and get each sentry bot separated and kill it. My drones continue destroying the facility and its sentry bots. A particularly tough spot is right by this factory. It can build more sentry bots, so I must be quick. But with a bit of careful control, I can destroy the sentry bots around here and get my drones on the reactor. Eventually, my drones destroy the factory. I rescued some Zerglings earlier, and since I didn't make them, they're allowed. I send them in here and destroy the sentry turrets. My drones continue destroying the facility, and they rescue the final group of Zerglings. I gather my Zerglings, and I attack the Eradicator. The Zerglings weren't quite enough here, so my 4 drones finish the mission. The challenge doesn't really affect the next mission, so I just won't show it. The third mission is Rendezvous. The mission objective is survive and wait for reinforcements. But patience is not a virtue here. I get the hero unit Sarah Kerrigan with powerful abilities that cost energy, but energy doesn't regenerate when it's full, so I go out and use some early. The bonus objectives are incredibly helpful here. They give me free units. I prepare for the enemy's attacks with some burrowed Zerglings in front of my spine crawlers. I stun them with Kerrigan's crushing grip ability, and the Zerglings unburrow and kill them. Kerrigan leads the air units to my spore crawler, and my queen can help too. The queen is also very useful for healing. I rescue the second group of reinforcements. They can help me defend my base. The third group is too well protected, so I'll ignore them. As the mission progresses, the enemy sends bigger attacks, and they're killing my Zerglings, so I have less remaining. The timer's almost done, but the enemies are very scary. Luckily, Kinetic Blast is enough against these Thors. Although, they do kill my final Zergling. I use my drones as an ambush this time, or they'll die and absorb damage, maybe protecting my spine crawlers, which also die. And then Kerrigan and the queens can hide behind this spore crawler, while the enemies ignore it. So okay, Kerrigan and 1 queen can survive until the timer expires. I successfully waited for reinforcements, and I get so many reinforcements that the rest of the mission is pretty easy. Next, we go to Char and celebrate Easter. The mission objective is collect 100 eggs. Zagara also wants these eggs, but Kerrigan and the drones discourage her. I get some eggs that aren't protected, and I rescue these free banelings. I keep most of my army back while Kerrigan and the spine crawler fight. I send in banelings individually so that I don't waste them. After I kill the enemies here, I rescue some banelings and collect some eggs. I wait until Zagara is distracted, and then I fight her hydralisks without her. I use a baneling and I scare the hydralisk away. This way my baneling can be useful without dying. Until I send my army in here. The enemy has too many units, so I need the help. Kerrigan can use kinetic blast against single targets like spine crawlers, and I collect more banelings here. But Kerrigan's energy is almost depleted, so I finish the bonus objective and get a full energy restore. It also restores Kerrigan's health. I can spend some of that energy in this area. It has many spine crawlers, but not too many other defenders. The enemy sends an attack against my base, but I move back and intercept it. Kerrigan and my spine crawler kill the enemies near the second bonus objective. Then I rescue more banelings and gather just enough eggs. My reward for these eggs is a giant army of banelings and zerglings. I attack the enemy base, and my army's not quite big enough, so I don't destroy it completely, but I do destroy all their production facilities. So now they can't build any more units, and Zagara can't respawn. They send some of their remaining units and attack my base, but Kerrigan beats them easily enough with a little help. They beat my spine crawler, but Kerrigan can finish the mission alone. It may require a long time, but I'm totally safe destroying the rest of Zagara's base. Next mission is Fire in the Sky. Kerrigan will be doing pretty much alone, so I use Kinetic Blast and Chain Reaction for their excellent damage. This mission has two objectives: destroy Gorgon battlecruisers, which is fine, and awaken Scourge nests. That objective will be a problem because it requires that I produce creep tumors. So I may produce creep tumors in this mission, but I don't allow any other production.
I may want to keep you near the front lines to spawn creep.
Instead, I rescue this queen. Its healing is very useful for Kerrigan.
There's not much time.
I rescue some Zerglings and Banelings, then I gather my army. Kerrigan and all the Zerglings, Banelings, and drones are attacking here. I was really scared of the enemy ghosts.
Nothing stands in my way.
They killed many of my units, but Kerrigan and the Queen survived, which is good enough.
What is it now?
I also rescue a second Queen. 4 ghosts remain here. Kerrigan uses Kinetic Blast against one, and leads the remaining 3 towards my army. Perhaps I was a bit too scared of these ghosts, but I don't need my Zerglings anymore. Kerrigan and 2 Queens should be plenty for the rest of the mission. Kill the strong mech units with Kinetic Blast, and kite the Marines while Chain Reaction does most of the damage. I use my entire army against the Vikings. If I can deal some good damage before they land, the rest of the fight should be pretty easy. The Raven made this fight a bit more difficult, but every other time, the Vikings just weren't a problem. The enemies send a big attack. I fight them at the top of this ramp, but they still depleted most of Kerrigan's health and energy. So I grab the second bonus objective and fully heal Kerrigan. Some enemies are guarding the third bonus objective, but Kerrigan will beat them, eventually. A queen dies so that Kerrigan can get her levels, and the other queen finishes the mission. And Kerrigan thanks her for her service. After this, I unlock the Zergling Evolution mission. The part about the Raptor Zergling is easy with this challenge, but the part about the Swarmling is real trouble. I start by burrowing my queens and drones in a good position and distracting the enemy marines with my overlords. Then my queens can beat the enemy marines pretty easily. But the landed Vikings and siege tank are attacking my base. I lure away the siege tank and fight it with drones and queens. I pull away the injured drones so that they don't die. I'm done using my drones. They're injured anyway. My queens walk past and distract one of the two landed Vikings. This way I can fight them separately, and two queens beat one landed Viking pretty easily. I specifically lured away the Viking that was targeting the more injured hatchery. This way it's not destroyed. Then we beat the other landed Viking pretty easily. We survived, but it cost most of my queen's energy. I'll wait until they fully regenerate before we move forward. My queens attack the bunker, and it does way more damage than I expect. Then, the bunker burns down much faster than I would expect. Does this bunker have some special modifier? I lure enemy units into small groups and fight them. This is quite effective against the Marines and landed Vikings. But this is not enough against the enemy Thor. We do a bit of damage, then we run away and heal and repeat. Eventually, we beat the Thor, and the rest of the mission is easy. As a reward for this mission, I can choose a permanent buff for my Zerglings. I choose Raptor Strain. They deal extra damage and can jump. The next mission is Old Soldiers. I start with a giant army and a time limit. I lose the army after the time limit, so I should use them aggressively. I destroy this base pretty easily. Then I turn around and go the other way. We destroy most of the enemies here before the timer expires. Now my army is Kerrigan, 3 aberrations, and a queen. We immediately go back to the base and continue the attack. Kerrigan beats the combat units, while the aberrations and queen destroy the buildings. The enemy occasionally sends groups of units towards my base. I meet them and easily beat them. I should claim some territory before the enemies get their full power. An Overlord provides vision so that Kerrigan can blast the enemies. The enemies going towards my base are too strong now. They can't beat them in a direct fight.
Push ahead.
Instead, Kerrigan kites them. But this costs too much energy.
Get some drones over here.
I ask my opponent, "Why are you hitting yourselves?"
The swarm never rests.
My army is bait. I clump them together and make a very tempting target. The enemy launches a nuke and shows me where it'll land. I run away, and if I position this correctly, the enemies will run right into the nuke. In between these friendly fire incidents, Kerrigan destroys the enemy base. And Kerrigan blasts the enemies near the main objective. I easily beat the enemies near the front, but the objective can shoot back, so I go around the side for a better angle. This corner is barely out of range of the objective. I send in my queen for the fight and lure in some enemies.
The swarm never rests.
Then we leave the corner, and Kerrigan goes to the other side. My new target is this barracks. Kerrigan can barely hit the factory from here. We go back and rescue some aberrations. The aberrations and Kerrigan run past the objective and target the enemy's remaining production structures. I send in my drones against the objective. The enemy gets drop pods of reinforcement. I send in my Zerglings, aberrations, and Kerrigan. The units from the drop pods are killed, including the SCVs that are repairing the objective. Then Kerrigan heroically runs away and abandons her entire army. Kerrigan and my queen remain. Kerrigan kinetic blasts the objective and returns to the queen for healing. I finally remember about the bonus objective. Then I finish the mission.